Doris Alencar, criticing that Brazil's first president has strong Portuguese roots that are very present in her upbringing. She began exploring artistic paths at an oral 18 recorded by her family, in which her father, uncles, and cousins are no visual artists. She has dedicated herself to painting, photography, and ceramics in Portugal. She connected with Urban Sketches Group, founding her own Urban Sketching Group in Braga, and co-founding Urban Sketching Minho, where she serves was on the coordinator.
Hello, Doris. It's a pleasure. How do you think the impact of a life circulated by multicultural experience has influenced your art?
Well, being a Brazilian is by itself a multicultural experience because each region there is really different place with different cultures, food, art, everything. It's a huge country with many diversity regions, people. And I had the opportunity to travel alone many times, and it gave me the opportunity to see people, to pay attention of all the traditions and colors, shapes, flavors. These experiences really gave me art influence.
Do you believe that moving to Portugal has had any influence on your art and life art and artistic?
Yes, I planned all my life to dedicate to art when I moved to Portugal, and so I did. Did I? And now I only do art every day. And coming here, I saw and I knew different artists, fabulous artists Portuguese that I didn't know before, like Paula Rego. And also the traditions here influenced me by colors. For instance, the scarf, Vienna's scarves, the women, they wear beautiful color scarves, and I like to draw and paint the nature here.
How does it feel to have our homing feel over cultural, considering that how your children have also to lead and water?
I have always art around me as since I was born, and like me, my kids were surrounded by art all their lives. When I traveled for work, I always went to museums and took home art books. And I feel really happy when I saw my kids doing the same and bring art books home.
Thank you, Doris.
Gabriel, the middle child of Doris, shares his mother's artistic streak, which is very present in his everyday life. A true art enthusiast, Gabriel graduated in business administration, but always had a strong desire to invest in his artistic talent. Through his life, he pursued various courses and training programs to develop and refine his skills, such as in photography, watercolor, and ceramics, where he ultimately discovered his great passion. At the age of 27, Gabriel moved to Europe in search of new opportunities. He lived and worked in Sweden, Berlin, and Vienna, and is currently based in Mexico, where he is now fully dedicated to the art of ceramics.
Okay. Hello, Gabriel. It's a pleasure to have you here, and thanks for accepting our interview. I'm gonna ask you some questions about your life related with multiculturalism.
Okay.
Okay. During your journey through Europe and Asia, what were the most striking multicultural shocks you experienced?
Yes. I think that so I went from Europe to South Korea, and that's half a globe distance,
Yeah.
and that's a big difference. But in between, there were many things. In Greece, for example, it was very similar to us here in Portugal or in Austria that I was living. But in Turkey, it's the next country, and it's already a big difference. It's very loud, a lot of noise, a lot of cars. The way people interact, they sit very close to each other.
Yeah.
There is no distance. And in Korea, they are very silent. In the subway, nobody talks. For example, these things. And this is just the everyday things, but also the social, like the economic part. Like it's very much poorer there in Vietnam, like in Brazil, where I'm from.
Yeah.
And there I felt actually at home because it was like a developing country. So, yeah, but this way.
Okay. And what led you to move to Sweden, and why not another country?
So Sweden was because I wanted to live in Europe. I had just gotten my Portuguese citizenship because my family is from Madeira, and then I wanted to live in Europe. So I thought I worked with online marketing. Then I needed to go to a country that spoke English well. I didn't want England, so other country that spoke English very well was Sweden, in Stockholm. And I had two friends there from Sweden. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna go without a job, so I'm gonna go to a place that I have friends. And
That's
that was
cool.
it. So I went there, and they helped me to get to the place and see the documents, house, all of these things. So it was very easy. Yeah,
Must be the one cool experience.
yeah, it was cool and literally cool or cold because from Rio to Sweden was, I don't know. It was the first time I saw snow. It was very
Yeah,
very
It's very cold
breezy.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What are the biggest difference you noticed between Brazil, Sweden, Austria, and Mexico?
Yeah, so these four countries, like, so we have Latin America and Mexico that I was living for 2 years. I just got here to Europe, and Brazil, Latin America, and then Sweden and Austria, Europe, and more specifically a Germanic Europe, not like this culture of
Yeah.
Germany. Uh, and there is like Latins, we are very open. We talk to everybody. We invite friends to have dinner, like, and friends of friends, no problem. But in Austria, for example, I had my group of friends, and if you want to bring a friend, like my own friend from another group, I had to ask everybody. So I have this person I want to take to bring to have a drink or something, and I have to ask. And in Brazil, you just bring and you
Yeah.
enjoy the evening. It's much lighter. Yeah, but there's a lot more respect in public, and in Latin America, it's more chaos and yeah, people don't respect the traffic rules, the driving rules,
Yeah.
like yeah. So these things they're very different, and I have to say I prefer more here in Europe. that we respect more the law than
Yeah.
and rules than in Latin America. Yeah.
It's a curiosity mine that
Yeah.
you said that you don't want England.
Yeah.
Can I ask why?
No, I think it was just because it was expensive, and I think at that time, I don't know. I think there was already the conversations of England leaving the EU.
Oh yeah.
I think, I'm not sure, but it was not so cool for me. I think the idea of going to England was very normal, and I wanted to go somewhere else. And Sweden, I had friends, so having friends was a big point for me to go to Sweden.
Makes
Because
sense.
when you move, yeah, because I moved without a job, and with friends, it's much easier to get in the country. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that was it.
understandable. Yeah. Okay, thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here. And
Born in 1981 in rural Brazil, Alessandro is the son of illiterate parents who chose to pursue a different future by moving to the capital in search of education. He graduated in English, a field he did not remain in for long. Through his life, he worked in various jobs, with his last one in Brazil being as the owner and founder of an off-road car modification company. He is now working in Portugal in the management area of Brunswick.
Hello, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for the interview. And in this interview, I'm going to ask some questions. Is it okay?
Is it okay for me?
Okay, so what was the initial impact of arriving in Portugal in terms of family, finances, and employment?
Okay, I stay here in Portugal. When I decided to stay here with my family, I tried to plan 1 year ago. I stay here since 2019, and I decide and I plan. In the first time, I plan rent a car, a house, not find a job initially, because my wife with an old friend of me beginning one company, statistical company, yeah. And this is the really fact that I stay here, that I decided to move to Portugal. It's to give more quality education and social quality for my daughters and my wife and me and my family too. And because in Brazil I work hard and have a very problem with criminality, and I work hard for more than 50 years, and I decided to stop work hard and stay with a calm life. And Portugal is the best. I find in that moment, I think that Portugal is it's a good place to live with my family. This is the really fact that I decided to stay here today.
Okay. And what was the path that led you to the decision of coming to Portugal?
This is the really decision today.
The security.
Yes, it's security and live with the quality for my daughter. It have a different education. Not it's not better than Brazil, but it's different. Yes.
Okay. And for the last question, being part of a multinational company, do you feel like you have experienced any stereotypes or difficulties in being accepted by others in your way to your current position?
I think that the have some difference in Brazil from Portugal is the social engagement. is so different. Yeah, I have a good experience in Brazil in industry, yeah, and the Portuguese people here. For example, my boss, when he see my CV, for example, and he see, and I have a good quality, professional quality to accept on the Brunswick, for example, and they say that yeah, you have to make practice more. And yes, for me and for my team, and for me is that okay. I love and I like so much to work in Brunswick, for example, is a good company, and I have good experience. But my difficult on the beginning is a difference, cultural difference is it's not similar. Yes, the language is different too. You know?
Yeah.
The Portuguese speaking in Brazil is not the same in Portuguese speaking in Portugal. The culture is so different too.
Yeah.
And this is the big difficult to me. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the interview. It was a pleasure.
Okay, for me too.